In the early 1st century AD, deep within the wild lands of ancient North America, a small village rested beside a narrow river. Thick forests surrounded the settlement, while distant mountains stood beyond the trees. The villagers lived in small wooden and mud huts. Their days were ruled by hunger, weather, and the changing seasons. They had no machines or advanced tools. Everything they needed had to be made by hand. Among the villagers lived Koro, a thin black hunter with rough hands and tired eyes. He wore a worn animal skin garment tied around his waist with a simple rope. His old bow was made from a curved piece of wood, and his arrows were carefully shaped from straight branches. Koro had learned to hunt from his father. His father had taught him that a hunter must move quietly, watch the wind, and never waste an arrow. One cold morning, Koro woke before sunrise. The village was still silent. Smoke rose slowly from a dying fire beside the huts. He walked toward the shelter where the hunting tools were kept. His hands were rough from years of work. He examined his bow and pulled the string gently. The wood bent with a quiet creak. Nearby, Taran, a young boy, watched him carefully. "Today you learn," Koro said. Taran nodded. Together they walked into the forest. The ground was covered with dry leaves. Every step had to be careful. Koro stopped often and studied the earth. He looked for broken branches, hoof marks, and disturbed leaves. After a long walk, they found fresh tracks near a muddy stream. Koro raised his hand. Taran stopped. A deer had passed through the forest only a short time before. They followed the tracks slowly. The forest grew thicker. Sunlight passed between the branches and touched the ground in small patches. Birds called from far away, but the two hunters remained silent. At last, they saw the deer. Koro lowered himself behind a fallen tree. He prepared his bow and selected one arrow. Taran watched without moving. The deer stepped into a small clearing. Koro waited. The wind changed. He lowered the bow. The deer moved away. Koro did not shoot. Taran looked confused. "Not yet," Koro whispered. They followed again. Hours passed. Hunger grew stronger, but Koro remained patient. Near another clearing, the deer appeared again. This time the wind was still. Koro slowly raised his bow. He pulled the string back. For a moment, everything became silent. Then he released the arrow. The arrow flew across the clearing and struck the deer. The animal fell. Koro lowered his bow. Taran stood quietly beside him. The hunt had succeeded, but Koro did not celebrate loudly. He placed his hand on the animal and gave thanks for the food that would keep his family alive. They carried the deer back toward the village. The journey was difficult, the animal was heavy, and both hunters became tired. When they reached the village, the people came from their huts. Women prepared a fire. Children gathered nearby. Older villagers brought stone tools for preparing the meat. Koro showed Taran how to remove the useful parts carefully, and how nothing should be wasted. The meat was divided among the families. Some was cooked over the fire. Some was prepared for drying. As evening arrived, smoke filled the air. The villagers sat together beside the fire. Taran held the bow in his hands. Koro looked at him. "A bow feeds those who respect it," he said. The boy looked toward the dark forest. He understood that hunting was not a game. It was part of survival. The next morning, life began again. Women carried water from the river. Men repaired fences. Children gathered wood. Hunters checked their bows and arrows. The forest remained beyond the village, silent and dangerous. For these ancient people, the bow and arrow were more than hunting tools. They were carefully made objects that required patience, skill, and courage. Every arrow represented time. Every hunt carried risk. And every successful return meant another day of life for the village.